Hey everybody, Jake, your resident content cowboy here, Yeehaw, and this is normally when I'd be coming to you talking about the newest release in Unite and whether or not you should buy it. Empoleon is actually free through a DICE event, so if you haven't watched some of my previous videos on that, the way to get a Pokemon through those DICE events as easy as possible is just to make sure that anytime you're rolling 3 and under, you pay some coins so you can go higher. Ideally, you want to get rolls where you're either landing on kind of those lucky squares or like 5s or 6s. If you do that consistently, you'll get through the event. Moving on from that, should you buy Empoleon? I don't really want to talk about that right now. What I want to talk about is the fact that this thing is unbelievably broken. It is so dang good. It heals itself for so much. It's so powerful. Its Hydro Cannon is, as advertised, a cannon of Hydro. It is ludicrously strong. I have no idea what they were thinking with this release. I know that it's interesting because this Pokemon and the most recent release before this, Pawmot, neither of them were on the public test server. And the public test server for the longest time has just kind of been a bit of a disaster. However, it is a server where things are publicly tested, and we haven't had releases this wildly unbalanced in a while. The most recent one I can think of is maybe Galarian Rapidash, where like right when it dropped, it was just kind of like every part of its kit was sort of gelling together too much. It was like unstoppable running through the opponent's like base running, you know, it had like moments like that. This is phenomenally broken. It's one of the more broken releases we've had in the entirety of the game, honestly. I would say I don't think it's Mewtwo or Zacian levels or anything like that. We also have draft now, so you can ban it and stuff. However, this thing is really busted, and Pawmot was very bad. I don't think it was unplayable, but it was pretty rough. They had to like buff a considerable amount of Pawmot's kit, and now with Empoleon, I genuinely think they could nerf, like if they just went across the board and nerfed every single aspect of this Pokemon, like let's say 10% across the board, all of its stats, all of its cooldowns, all of its recovery, all of its damage, like it would still probably be really good. They could nerf everything about this Pokemon and it would still be really good, which does make me wonder, were they actually getting some okay data from the public test server, and now that they're not, they're right back to balancing things in such a ludicrous way that things are coming out terrible or things are coming out broken? Like it feels like we're coming back to that, and it's weird because we've actually been going through a string of like, the releases have been odd, right? Latias was bad and they kind of buffed it. Latios too good and they nerfed it. And then you kind of go further back, you have Alchemy that was not very good, then they buffed it and it was way too good. We're right back to them balancing this game in a super poor way. The balance of the game is actually pretty good. This is what's weird. The balance of the roster is actually pretty decent, but the balance of releases is all over the place. Maybe they need to bring the PTS back. Maybe they can't just have like closed door events for some of their influencers and players in Japan to give them feedback on these Pokemon, because what is coming out the other end makes no sense. Maybe Pawmot originally was like too good and they were like, nerf this thing, then it was terrible, and then Empoleon wasn't good enough and they're like, buff this thing and it's too good. I don't know exactly what's happening behind the scenes at Timmy, and trust me, I wish I did, but suffice it to say, Empoleon needs a big nerf and Pawmot needed a big buff, and the balance of new releases is not great, and they're coming out very fast. I hope we have an emergency nerf. I honestly hope, as I'm recording this video, this is like a totally moot point. I hope this video doesn't even come out, because by the time I hit the stop recording button, this thing is done. They've already announced that we have an emergency nerf because we absolutely need it for Empoleon. That being said, if you are in a game with draft, ban this thing. If you're not and someone on your team is picking it, I mean, of course they are. It's the best thing in the game. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win, but I would bet you if this thing doesn't get a nerf from the state it's at right now, it would have over a 60% overall win rate, which is probably the highest we've ever seen. There were times where things could have been higher, but I don't think we have all the data on it. I would be super curious to see what it would turn into. However, what I want more than anything is just a quick emergency nerf. I even have some Empoleons to give away to the community, like not a ton, I've got a couple, but I'm not gonna do a giveaway until this thing is nerfed. So that's all I wanted to say about it. Maybe they need to bring the PTS back, and Empoleon, without question, needs a massive nerf. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I love you, I'll see y'all next time. We did it.